I wrote, or this paper was published first in 2002, and it's titled Domestic, Regional, and International Protection of Nigerian Women Against Discrimination, Constraints, and Possibilities. So I will do something that is kind of new for me. When I went and retrieved the paper from Academia.edu, which is a site on which I post my papers that are not under copyright and publications. It asked me if I wanted AI to summarize it for me, and I said yes. So listen to this summary, and then I will read the paper, which will be done in many parts since it's long. So for the introduction, here's what AI said. Discrimination against women is defined by Article 1 of the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women of 1979, heretofore referred to as the 1979 Convention, or CEDAW, as, quote, any distinction, exclusion, or restriction made on the basis of sex, which has the effect or purpose of impairing or nullifying the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise by women, irrespective of their marital status, on a basis of equality of men and women, of human rights and fundamental freedoms in the political, economic, social, cultural, civil, or any other field, unquote. So by May 2001, 168 countries had ratified CEDAW, and 46 of them were African. I wonder how many countries have now ratified. I guess I'll go ask my best friend, Google. So the AI also summarized what I said under the heading of structures of inequality, their creation and impact on the role of women in contemporary Nigerian society. And here's what it says on that, which is extracted from my paper. Access to the means of production is an important indicator of the rights of women in society. Many claims are made by contemporary analysts, activists, and scholars about the pre-colonial roots of institutionalized denial to means of production in Nigerian society. In pre-colonial times, women generally had access to land which they could cultivate. We're going to go into this at length and more deeply so that you understand the full context in the full paper. This is just me playing with AI. Then it also summarized discrimination against women in Nigeria, a contemporary overview, which is another section of my paper. So part of it excludes A, and then it goes directly to B, that women are subjected either expressly by or in the practical application of any law in force in Nigeria or any executive or administrative action of the government to disabilities or restrictions. Okay, women should not be subjected to all this. Any disabilities or restrictions to which citizens of Nigeria and other communities ethnic groups, places of origin, sex, religion, or political opinion are not made subject. Or C, be accorded expressly by or in the practical application of any law in force in Nigeria, or any such executive or administrative action, any privilege or advantage that is not accorded to citizens of Nigeria or any communities, ethnic groups, places of origin, sex, religions, or political opinion. So this section I said in the paper, and AI is replicating it verbatim, in effect provides for equal treatment of men and women under the law. I think this is about the Nigerian Constitution. According to the Nigerian government's report to the Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, there is no need to create enforcement mechanisms for the convention because its provisions could be used as the basis for any argument against derogations in any court of law within Nigeria. I think women's rights organizations and NGOs and CSOs that do advocacy on women's rights, they disagree. They would like CEDAW to be domesticated and also for it to be implemented in a meaningful way in Nigeria. Again, we'll get into that more in the paper itself. Then, this paper also, the AI has another snippet that it took from the paper, that another problem is that people have deep psychological ties to their culture and customs, and many women may prefer to live under those customs with which they are most familiar, even though the customs deny them personal freedom. When these women choose to take concrete steps towards gaining their rights, they also face a degree or some degree of social alienation. Education must therefore be directed at women as well as the whole society to foster the elimination of discrimination against women. And then for the conclusion, it says, in terms of domestic protections of the problems militating against the elimination of discrimination against women, most important is the fact that de jure or legal guarantees do not necessarily imply de facto, or as people live, the fact of life, everyday life aspect of things. They don't necessarily imply de facto recognition. And then I talked about several scholars' work, most of them Nigerian scholars and women scholars who work on gender issues. I then reference Aisha Imam, who argues that the Nigerian social structure favors men over women, resulting in exploitation, which effectively subordinates women in all spheres of life. For this exploitation to be eliminated, structural change must occur. So this is AI's summary. And I was asked, how would I rate this summary? I think I'll give the summary 2 stars. So you can also contribute to this and help me to rate the summary after you listen to the paper.